This is Andy Pirrell for Boxing Social, and I'm delighted to be joined by Nathan Gorman. Nathan, we're down here at your press conference today, obviously on the undercard of the Warrington-Frampton fight on Saturday. You're going in with Cojanu now, but firstly, how are you?
Very well, mate. Are you good?
Yeah, I'm all good, thanks. Good to you doing well. Now, just talk to me about the situation with Razvan. Obviously, originally he was going in with Leapai and he pulled out last week, and now Razvan's come in, who was going to fight Daniel Dubois on this past weekend, but Daniel fell ill. Just talking about how the opportunity and the fight got made.
Well, I was due to fight, like you said, Leapai. He called me a fair few names, on social media and stuff. Then 2 days later, he pulled out. Don't know what for, injury or travel conditions. I don't know, or management. I don't know. Then Daniel was due to fight last Saturday against Razvan Cojanu, and he fell ill. So it kind of went in a big circle, and me and him ended up fighting. So it was a blessing in disguise that Daniel fell ill and Leapai pulled out, because Razvan's probably a better opponent in my eyes.
What did Leapai's team give you guys in terms of a reason why he couldn't fight?
Truthfully, no reason at all. They just pulled out. I said, yeah, all right, it happens. I just assumed it was injury or something.
And obviously in Cojanu, he's probably the tougher fighter, like you say. How come it wasn't you in the first place then who was given the opportunity to fight Razvan, and then you said Daniel was to fight Leapai prior to all the changes in opponents? How come you wasn't offered the fight first?
I don't know, They had that fight. We had that fight for 8-10 weeks, Leapai. So Propsley made that first, and Daniel got that show, and they found Razvan. So I don't really know. I could, like I said, it sounds easy when you say it, isn't it? We could have just had him first and got on with it.
And talking about Razvan, you're coming in with only 2 weeks' notice to fight him. You've spent your entire camp preparing for Leapai. So how does that affect you and your preparations?
To be fair, no affection whatsoever, because I've had tall sparring. Sparred all sorts. Tall, short, thin, fat, everything. Preparation's been going good. Luckily, I've got a good coach in Ricky Anton, who can get a game plan within 30 minutes. You know what I mean? And we've had a good 2 weeks' notice. So, and I've fought tall fighters before, so we're fine, really.
Obviously, it was pointed out that Razvan took Joseph Parker 12 rounds, and he's fought Luis Ortiz. I know he lost with him too, but he's still got him in the ring with him. What do you make of that experience that he's got? Do you think it will count for anything for him on the night when he comes in against you?
Yeah, definitely. Looking at his resume to mine, it's a pup to an old dog, really, isn't it? You know what I mean? He's been in there at world level, boxed for a world title, boxed world competitors in Luis Ortiz and Joseph Parker. So he's got a good resume on his record, hasn't he? But I'm fully prepared and I'm ready to do a job on Saturday.
A victory for yourself, it would, and rightly so, put a lot more pressure on. Not rightly so, but it would put more pressure on you and more expectation, because it's a big name for you to get because of who he has fought. How are you going to be prepared for that and the extra expectation that's already been built around you as is?
You just got to take it in your stride. Don't believe all the hype or don't follow it. Just take it in your stride. Keep on training hard. And keep grounded people around you. I'm not that type of person to get caught up in that type of thing. I do the same thing. Go to the same pubs and all that. It doesn't really bother me. I'm just a person who fights. That's all it is.
How does the fight plan out on Saturday night?
Hopefully get the win, and come out healthy and unscathed with no injuries. But get the win, and look impressive doing it. Hopefully. Obviously, I'd like a KO. I'd like a KO in the first 10 seconds, so I can get home. But just get the win.
And talk about your 2019 in terms of what level of opponents or what belts do you have in mind that you want to be trying to challenge for? Obviously, Daniel Dubois is a name that's been circulated with yourself, and it was mandated by the British Boxing Board of Control. What are your thoughts in terms of next year?
Next year, I'd like to win the domestic titles, British and European and things like that. I'd like to burst onto that scene and get into the top 10 in the world, in the governing bodies. But yeah, I think with the Daniel Dubois situation, I think we're flogging a dead horse there, you know what I mean? It might happen there again, it might not. If it does happen, it's not going to happen anytime soon.
So that fight, which realistically we won't see next year, and it is something that will just be built up for maybe years down the line?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, mate, yeah, you know what I mean? It's a fight what should happen, but because a lot of people want to see it, I want it, he might want it, I highly doubt it, but it's something what's going to be built and built and built and built.
Is it one of them? It's a frustrating. It's kind of like a catch-22. You want the fight, but you understand why it isn't going to be made.
So you got to look at it this way. Of course, there's one winner, but whoever loses, we're only young. We're only 22, and he's 21. it's not the end of the world, is it, if he loses? You know what I mean? You can pick yourself up and carry back on, but they don't look at it that way, do they? Which, from a promotional point aside, you know, get the most money you can, which is understandable. It is a business, and it's very clever.
Now, also talks about Kamil Sokolowski. You know, I'm going to come on to it. He recently knocked out Nick Webb over past weekend. What did you make of that? And obviously, I know you was very critical of your own performance last time out, but when you see a result like that, does it maybe bring justice to your own performance?
I'm actually happy with my performance now. 8 rounds, one-handed. Yeah, to be fair, Kamil, you know, to be fair, he's actually a friend of mine, you know. And he was like last resort opponent. I didn't really want to fight him because we know each other. I've had him in for sparring and that. And he pulled off a good performance against Nick Webb, didn't he? You know, in that knockout, spectacular when I left up, really took his head off. But you know, unlucky for Nick Webb, I'm sure he'll bounce back.
What did you make of the fight itself? You know, when you was watching it, was you surprised that Nick was knocked out, or was you actually backing him to finish Kamil?
The thing is, you never can be surprised with Kamil because he is an upset merchant. He's pulled it off many times, you know, and he's had some decisions go against him in the past, but he can upset a lot of people, and he will continue to upset a lot of people.
I was watching an interview with Dave Allen the other day, and he was saying, with the exception of maybe yourself and Dillian White, he isn't somebody who's been stopped before. No. And you know, is that Kamil down to a T? And is that the problem with fighting people with a journeyman tag, that you know, you never know which version of them are going to turn up on the night?
His record it doesn't speak for itself. You know what I mean? You know, he has more losses than wins. He is a trouble for a prospect. Trust me, believe me. Well, look at his resume. The prospects who's fought him, he will knock him out because he is a danger man, and he will get avoided like the plague now for what he's done.
And also, I just want to mention the main event for Saturday night, Josh Warrington and Frampton. What are your thoughts on the bout?
Very good fight, 50-50. You know, you got Josh Warrington, the engine, boxes a bit like Ricky, you know, 100 mile an hour, throws everything but the kitchen sink. Then you got Frampton, superior boxer. You know, he's been at the top of the game. Fought Leo Santa Cruz, fought Scott Quigg. You know, he was a former unified world champion, wasn't he? So he's been there and done it, got the T-shirt. The only winners here are the fans, but I'm going to, truthfully, it is a 50-50 fight. I keep changing my mind every day. But if I had to put my last pound, I'd probably go for Frampton. But I don't know, truthfully.
And on the night, we also have Mark Efron and Liam Williams. That was getting a little tasty then. What do you make of that fight?
Getting a bit heated there, isn't it? Very good fight, you know, very good fight for British boxing. Cracking fight. This has the making to be a trilogy, you know. You know what I mean? If it plans out the way it is, you know, if they go at it the way they're looking there, what a fight.
When you know you have that little bit of heat and the back and forwards in the press conferences, etc., over social media, if it doesn't live up to that expectation, or is it in danger of not living up to that expectation and disappointing fans?
Yeah or no, but when you really look at them, Liam Williams and Mark, they only know one objective in boxing, don't they? And that's 100 mile an hour.
And also, just to get your thoughts on the Chisora card, falls on the same night, but it's 2 heavyweights in the same division as yourself. What are your thoughts on, firstly, the date clash, but the fight itself?
Very good fight, you know, but but it's a 50-50 fight, isn't it? I am going to back Chisora, you know, I am going to back Chisora because I've been in the camp with him for 2 weeks and he's looking really well. They've done a good job with him.
What do you make of the date clash, obviously, with your own card on Saturday night?
Well, he's bit his nose there, spite his face, hasn't he? So it's one of them things.
Well, Nathan, I know you've got plenty to do now, so thanks for being to Boxing Social.
No problem, brother, anytime.